I wanted to try this painting program that lets you do watercolor digitally. I am not a digital artist. Oh my god. That's so cool. Okay. You can change colors and things. Neat. How wet can we get this paper? I want to see what happens if I make this super wet and super loaded. What happens if I do that? I want to make a mess. Alright. This is so cool. I wonder if this is going to be the thing that makes me do water or digital art. What do these do? So that's a liner. This is a really convincing pastel texture. Holy cow. Love that. That is satisfying as hell. Ew. Ooh. Okay. This looks cool. It does appear to be working. It's just very slow. I think this is so cool. Okay. Alright, and then there's a tilt over here where I can change the direction that the water flows. Look at that. It's so disgusting. Okay. I just don't know how to paint digitally to make it look fine. You know, I grew up with, you know, Photoshop in the 90s where people just did like lens flares, one brush, too much blending kind of thing. Like this is cool. Really cool. And the things people do with Photoshop anyway, already really cool, and I have no idea how y'all do it. I was like, what is a blow? Ooh, okay. Ew, okay. Ew. Ew. Alright, so it's supposed to be like blowing on it and pushing it around to make that splooshy sploosh. I could wet the whole paper with this button here. And I could do some wet on wet stuff. Let's see what that looks like. The first time I tried this, the program wasn't working because I was trying to record it in OBS and something terrible was happening. I don't know what. Let's make a gigantic star. Oh. Does it matter if it's wet when you use something else? Like, does a marker bleed? I want to know that. It kind of does. Oh, it's bleeding. Oh my god, it's bleeding. The reason I'm trying this is because the Humble Bundle company, the Humble Bundle people, have made a bundle that has this program in it for a very low price. I think it was $30 for this and a bunch of other weird programs that I don't think I'm going to use, but if you ever want to erase your watercolor. What? Ew, this actually looks kind of disgusting because it looks like running your finger through something sludgy. Another thing I wanted to do was import line art because this would be super useful for someone like me who can't really draw digitally that well. I can do it, I just choose not to. Let's see. Apparently the setting white to alpha makes it transparent. Yeah, let's do wet on wet. So let's wet this baby. Okay. Now, let's do it. Now if I set this to multiply, I get my lines back. I'm not getting a whole lot of bleeding. Maybe I should turn the tilt back on? Would that help a little bit? Does that help? I don't know. It's not juicing anymore. It's just sitting there, and this is what happens. Anyway, I am going to try to draw something, anything, something random, and try to record it. I don't know if it's gonna work. So what I'm going to do is I am going to try to draw something from scratch. This is an envelope with flowers coming out of it. And then after that, I took one of my sketchbook scans and decided to try coloring it to see how that feels. For me, I feel like this is a really cool halfway point between traditional and digital, because I'm a watercolor artist, and I just am not practiced with digital painting. I don't really understand it. I could never really get the feel of it. I never knew how people get really nice textures. There are some artists who actually do like real looking oil paintings and things like that. There's some really cool stuff out there. I feel like this program gives me a little bit of a leg up because it does offer some predictable textures. You know, the watercolor mostly does look like watercolor, and the pastel looks very convincing. I couldn't really get into the actual flow of the process though, because it does work so differently. Like, you can erase all the colors that I put down, and there's a bunch of technical stuff with the layers and the layer modes. The colors are also a lot more opaque than a real life watercolor, so it doesn't really perform in a predictable way for me. It still seems to require a lot of digital art skill that I don't have, and I'm not particularly blown away by the things that I've made today. I do have a problem with this program though, and that is I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if it's my computer, but when I first open it up, it seems to work pretty okay. Like, even if I'm not trying to also record a screen capture, if Rebelle was the only program I had open, it starts out working kind of cool. You can get some really juicy action going. The water flows really quickly. It's like mind-bogglingly interesting and fun. And it only takes a few minutes until it stops doing that. And I'm not sure if it is something with me. I'm using a gaming computer, and while I was doing this, I did keep checking to see what my CPU and GPU were doing, and they were pretty low. So it wasn't that the computer was struggling with it, but my computer does run pretty hot physically. Like, it's considered pretty normal temperatures, but the temperatures are pretty hot, and I don't know if it's kind of like my phone, where after it gets warmed up a little bit, it stops functioning smoothly. I don't know if it's just on my end, or if this is something that happens to anyone else. The program only seems to work properly in the first 5 minutes or so I don't know what's going on there. I think my favorite tool is the white to alpha, or whatever that is. I wish my version of Photoshop had that, because that's a really handy button. Damn. I love the idea of just taking a scan and reducing it to line art immediately, transparently. That's very cool. I don't know, I had a lot of fun. I think I would have way more fun practicing digital art with something like this. But again, I just have to figure out how to make it work smoothly the whole time. I was coloring the sketchbook page, and I just kept getting frustrated that I couldn't get nice drippy effects and stuff because it was going too slowly. I feel like after I put a large amount of water and paint down, and you have all of this stuff moving all at the same time, it just slows it down somehow, and I don't know how to get around that or fix it in the moment, because it's kind of frustrating. It definitely affects my experience. By the time this video comes out, there might be a few days left for this Humble Bundle. It is a charity fundraiser, so I will put a link in the description, although there's probably less than a week to actually take advantage of it. But let me know what you think about programs like this, or if you've had the similar problems that I do about the processing, or the performance rather. And thanks for watching.